Hey guys, welcome back to my next art book preview video. This week we've got something pretty special, pretty big. I've had to zoom my camera out quite a lot. This is the Zenescopes Z Rated art book. So this is the box that it comes in, or the clamshell I think it's called. Quick look at the front and back and let's get this open. Okay, so inside we've got, just occurred to me that I'm going to have to edit this video quite a lot and blur things out straight away. Even the cover needs things blurring out. So I'm going to hold things on this camera tipped a little bit towards me. Hopefully the focus will be fine, but it just means that the lighting won't reflect quite as much because it is a very high gloss cover. So quick look at the front and back there. Just occurred to me I'm going to have to blur 3 sets of boobs out the back for YouTube. Okay, so moving into the book itself. Again, I've tipped it towards me because otherwise, as you can see, the pages will be very glossy. So it's not going to be perfect. There may be some reflection. So some images might seem a little bit exposed, no pun intended, with my lighting. It might be a bit too bright, but hopefully it's clear enough. So right off the bat, the first thing to mention about this is, as you can probably guess, there is nudity on, well, as far as I'm aware, pretty much every page. I guess we'll see as we go through it. There's a range of different artists. It does have their information at the bottom, their name, what sort of cover the artwork is from, and the year in which it was done. This one here is probably the tamest image I've seen so far. I've only glanced through this book very quickly though, because it only just arrived this morning and I wanted to get this one recorded straight away whilst I've got a little bit of time. And it's pretty interesting actually because this artist here, Draxgal, if that's how you pronounce it, I did notice this artist throughout the book a little bit, and it's more of a manga sort of anime style, which I quite like, especially in a book like this. The style is absolutely stunning, but I prefer art books when, you know, they've got a range of styles, or at least a few different artists that have slightly different styles. I think it makes the book a little bit more interesting. So I definitely see that as a pro. I did notice Keith Garvey quite a few times in this book, or what I did glance of the book. An artist whose books I've come across a few times and I've never bought them. I've always been really tempted. So it's pretty cool that I finally own some of his work. So again, more of his there. And you might have noticed another artist that came up a lot in the last Zenescope book I did a video for. So in fact, let's just show that on camera quickly. This was Zenescope's Art of Cosplay, Zenflix and Chill. This one was really cool. It's not as big as this other book. It doesn't have nudity in it. But yeah, I think that one's about 80 pages, whereas this one here is, I think it's at least 200 pages, so 2.5 times the size. This is a really big book. The print quality on them both is absolutely fantastic. So again, another example here of the slight style variation. We have slightly more realistic painterly rendering, and then this one more typical Zenescope, maybe even a little bit more exaggerated and anime manga. But yeah, I am going to have to try and blur some stuff out because we know that YouTube can be a little bit funny about that kind of thing. So it's probably going to take me quite a while to edit this one. This artist here, by the way, Sun Kamunaki, apologies if I'm pronouncing any of the names wrong. This artist appeared a lot in that last book I just showed, and I referred to this one as like a very well-rendered, realistic, painterly style. So it's really cool to see that artist in this book as well as Elias Chadzaudis. Again, probably pronouncing the name wrong. More of his work here. In fact, both these are Elias's work. But yeah, really well-known artist with some fantastic work. So I'm definitely getting the impression that Draxgal is going to be an artist throughout this book that has this sort of anime manga style. Again, Elias Chadzaudis. So you're going to sort of pick up on the individual artists' styles throughout. If you're watching this book, then you're probably already quite familiar with these artists or quite familiar with Zenescope. So you probably know what to expect anyway, but I should have probably given a warning just at the off chance that I don't do a very good job at blurring things out or I miss a page or something like that. So apologies if you're offended by nudity. Probably not the best video for you if so. And I think this book was actually a Kickstarter. I know it's on BackerKit and I get confused a bit with BackerKit and Kickstarter. And this project was launched with that other book I showed, the Zenflix and Chill cosplay book. So that one like covered basically beautiful women like this in costumes or cosplays of well-known things. I think it's a really cool way of showing fan art, and I'm a really big fan of fan art fan of fan art. But yeah, so that was really cool. This book was also part of that project, so you could back one of the books or you could back both of them. This one, as you can probably imagine, is a little bit more expensive. In fact, these two images were actually in that last book, but the covered up versions. So that's pretty cool. I was curious to know whether it had the same artwork involved as well. But yeah, as mentioned, the book is going to be more expensive. This one, it's very premium, comes in like that fancy box and has 2.5 times the pages. As well as that, there's quite often a little bit of a premium for nudity in the art industry because, you know, look at people who are successful on Patreon. A lot of them, you know, their exclusive work that people pay for is like the nude versions. The other thing I wanted to mention, I'll put details in the description box below just in case I am getting this information wrong, but I know that other book I just previewed, again, the Zenflix and Chill cosplay book, I know was limited to like 1,500 copies that were printed. So my point from that being that if you do want this book, don't hold off, because if it is a limited edition one, you know, you might not be able to get it. And I know that from looking on eBay in the past, when I've come across the older versions of the Art of Cosplay books by Zenescope, they started getting quite expensive, quite valuable. I'm not saying that I buy art books to increase the value, but I must admit I find it easier to justify when the price is likely to go up eventually. I don't feel as bad spending money on it. As always though, I'll put links to where you can buy these from in the description box below to where I can find them for the best price. Aside from that, guys, I think I'm going to leave it at that. There's absolutely loads of pages. I've skipped through quite a few pages at a time and we're only like halfway through, but you know, I've probably showed quite a lot and it's going to take me a lot of time to edit. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you subscribe to the channel. It really helps me out a lot and means I can keep making content like this. Thanks for watching, everyone.